Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. There's so much confusion out there, many mixed messages that you might be getting from different doctors, different authorities. And that's really what we want to talk about because we really feel for you. But before we dive into this very important topic, we are actually working on something very exciting, an app to help you with your health and well being. And we actually have a few different ideas for the app and we would like your help on what would work best for you. So please check in the links down below and fill out what you would like to see with a future app to help you with your health and well-being. We would really appreciate that. And we're very excited about what the app may be able to do for you and your loved ones. So let's dive into this topic then. The first one, which I think is a really good one to talk about, seeing as obviously you are a fine primary care doctor, the fact that people are seeing different doctors with every single appointment. It's so weird. How did this happen? Why are we here?
Well, what happened is everyone hyper specialized. So, what you saw in medical school and residency, there was a lot of push for every doctor to become a hyper specialist. So, instead of that old school primary care doctor that came to your house, really could kind of do a bit of everything, no matter what your complaint was, they took a look at it and tried to help you out. What happened is every doctor said, okay, now I only do this, or I only treat this condition, or I only treat this very specialized rare disease. And you saw that happening more and more and more to the point where medicine became incredibly fragmented. And now you have a different doc for every organ and actually multiple docs for the same organ, which is important in some ways. It's good to have some hyper specialized doctors that know how to treat very specialized conditions. But we've lost that cohesiveness. What you've lost is that one doc that knows you so well, that you trust, that they know you, they know your body, and that you can have these good discussions with. But now it's all fragmented and very, very difficult. The EMRs, the electronic medical records, were supposed to connect us all, right? So they were supposed to connect all the information so that all your information was in one chart. And I think you know, and we certainly know, that didn't quite pan out the way it was supposed to.
Oh, it definitely didn't. And from my experience as a hospital doctor, this situation has got exponentially worse over the last few years. So to the point where I will ask people when they're in the hospital, who is your primary care doctor? And these are people who are very well established in the community. They've been living in the same town for decades. And they will say, I'm not sure. I saw a different doctor last time. And then before that, I saw someone else and it was switching between doctor, nurse practitioner, physician assistant. Please feel free to share your stories below. And I think to myself, how can we possibly have continuity of care? I know we talk a lot about the good old days of the community doctor who would come to your house with the little bag. I grew up with that type of doctor who would be there really as a pillar of the community. Everybody knew them. And now nobody knows who their doctor is. It's crazy. How can we possibly have any continuity? And there's a lot of factors that go into this, including the fact that various systems in different countries have made it almost impossible to be a good primary care doctor. It's just so difficult when you have overwhelming bureaucracy, 5 minutes with a patient, and you have tons of paperwork and tick boxes. It's tragic, and I really dislike it every time I hear that story.
Well, I don't think it was an accident. I think this was destroyed on purpose because corporations wanted to get more control of that relationship because they understood that that relationship directly equaled medications getting prescribed, tests getting ordered, referrals getting done. So big corporations intentionally inserted themselves into that and destroyed that relationship. Now, beautiful thing is we hate it, you hate it. So that can be a big engine for change. When the vast majority of the country is very unhappy with the way a certain thing is done, that's when change starts. And it's all about empowerment. It's about you taking your health into your own hands. Now, Dr. Sunil had mentioned we're creating an app. We are doing that so that you are going to have more power to educate yourselves and make more choices, guided choices to help you make the right choices. So it's all about empowerment. It's about taking health in your own hands. And that way, these guys can't have control of you.
Yeah, that is very well said. Yeah. Brilliant way of putting it, actually, there, Dr. Ben, because that's how you get control over a relationship, which is sacred as far as I'm concerned. And I know you're concerned. the doctor-patient relationship, and then you insert a corporation or big government in between. And then this is what happens. Everything is fragmented, and you can't possibly have good ongoing care if you see a different clinician each time. The second point I want to talk about, which I see all the time, is within the hospital, what I call too many cooks in the kitchen syndrome. Many of you or your loved ones may have been the victims of this. You come into hospital with a complicated issue, and there may be 3 or 4 different specialists, and you get all these different messages. The cardiologist is saying one thing, the lung doctor is saying another, the kidney doctor is saying another, and there's no unifying message. And the amount of times that I get inserted into a case and I see this and I think, my goodness, I'm confused as a doctor.
Right.
So what about you? Like you've been in hospital now for 3 days and it doesn't seem that you or your family knows what's wrong.
It's absolutely infuriating and scary when you're the patient or the family members in the situation. It's very scary. Who's in charge? I can tell you, you should always be asking, who's running the show? Who's in charge? Who's the main doctor? And there has to be one. It's under someone's name. Your care is under someone's name. So you deserve to know who that is. And you deserve to be able to talk to them face to face and say, tell me what's going on. My understanding is everything has to go through you. Is that correct? So someone owes you all that. And you are allowed to ask. Actually, you're not just allowed, I think you have the duty to ask that to make sure you're getting the best care.
You do, absolutely. And the best hospitals that I've worked in, now thankfully working in the best hospital, I've worked in some less good hospitals, but they will have a whiteboard where the nurse will write the name of the doctor. If you're in the United States, it will be a medical attending physician. If you're a medical patient, if you're surgical, it will be the surgeon. And that doctor is the captain of the ship. That's what I do when I'm in the hospital. So everything will come through me, and I make it very clear to patients and the family who are frequently confused. I'll say, don't worry, from now on, everything will come through me. Any confusion, you ask the nurse to page me, we'll clarify everything, because you have to have clarity.
Mhm.
And yeah, be very careful about that. Too many cooks in the kitchen syndrome. The final point that we want to talk about is we were talking about mixed messages from authorities, which keep swinging back and forth, often because of conflicts of interest. 1 minute, eggs are bad, then eggs are good, fat is good, fat is bad. How on earth do we resolve this for the long-suffering population that keep getting mixed messages? And we know how hard you're all trying, and that's why you're probably doing your own research, quite rightly, and you probably already know what's good and bad. But why does this keep happening, Dr. Ben?
Well, I think you just answered that. You have to do your own research. So here's the problem. A lot of the time, these messages change because the money changes, right? So
Follow
a
the
lot
money.
of the time,
Yeah.
they're getting money. Whoever's pushing this wants you to move in a different direction, wants a different medication pushed, wants something done differently. So the money changes. So the research is funded differently. And all of a sudden, the message changes. Your job and my job is to do our homework. We have to do research every time there's a new guideline, there's a new suggestion from an authority. Never, ever just accept it. You got to look through it, see who funded it. You have to get that information, who funded this and why, and then double check it. Make sure it makes sense. Make sure you have people you can ask and listen to that you believe in, that you think will give you the appropriate information.
Yeah, and I'd like to add something to that to all you fine people. Also, use your gut instinct. If you're hearing something, as was widely propagated in the 1980s and 90s, margarine is good for you. I mean, think about it. It's highly processed, comes from a factory. If you hear the American Heart Association say something questionable, and then you look at their conflicts of interest and think, wow, why are they sponsoring food which is highly processed? Don't underestimate how important that is as well, because we live in a world, and this is probably never going to change because this is the way the world is. There are conflicts of interest. There are people at the top. Think very carefully who has your best interests at heart and who's wanting the best for you, who really wants the best for you. And if something sounds too good to be true, then it often is.
It often is.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. We do hope that you have the best possible outcomes always on your health journey. A lot of things working against you, a lot of things working against everyone. And it's funny, I put out a tweet yesterday, which is very popular, about how one of the best reasons to go to medical school, you realize after a few years, is to protect your immediate loved ones
Yeah.
from unnecessary investigations, over medications. Yes, absolutely. The medical profession does a lot of good things. We're not arguing that, but don't you think that that's a really good reason you can, with, with your own family and people close to you in your life, we can always say, this doesn't sound right. And people see you as the authority. That alone, despite how difficult the practice of medicine is in many ways, is a good enough reason to do medical school.
I took care of a older woman. She was in her 80s, and I didn't realize she was a doctor at first. She didn't practice anymore. But once I realized she was a physician, I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were a doctor." I said, That's great." She said, "It protects me from the fools." So it was a great line, and
There you go.
she knew her stuff, and she knew when somebody was doing something stupid, and she was able to see through it. So if you do your homework, do your research, keep learning about health and wellness, you'll be able to protect yourself from the fools as well.
Yep, very well said. All right, keep going, everyone. Thank you again. Once more, do check in the links down below. Let us know what you think would help you the most as an app. Let us know what your choice is. Also, check out our natural health and wellbeing store, ohiwellness.com if you're in the USA, North America, ohiwellness.co if you're in the UK, Europe, and our ebooks, which contain information, advice that you might not be getting elsewhere. All of that on the website. We will speak again in the next show.